One day, a small wolf cub wandered into the military unit's territory, whining loudly as it sat on the steps of the dining hall. Mistaking it for a lost puppy, an attendant brought it to David Ivanovich, who decided against returning the cub to the wild. Instead, he took it home, gifting it to his daughter Elisa. The cub was so adorable that Elisa instantly fell in love with her new companion. They named the wolf cub Dobra, and from that moment on, the girl and her beloved wolf grew up together. David took it upon himself to train the wolf cub, determined to prove that even a wild animal like a wolf could be trained with love, patience, and care. Despite hearing that wolves are too rebellious to be tamed, he wanted to challenge this notion. His efforts paid off. Dobra quickly learned commands, jumped over obstacles, and obediently followed Elisa, proving that affection could indeed win over even the wildest of animals. Years passed, and after finishing school, Elisa left for the regional center to study cooking. While training to become a chef, she worked part-time in a local canteen, gaining experience. Every weekend, she returned home to her parents, where her loyal friend Dogra eagerly awaited her arrival. After graduating, Elisa returned to her hometown to work in the canteen of the military base where she had grown up. She believed her place was by her parents' side and with her cherished wolf. By then, her father had been promoted to head of the unit, a proud moment for the family. Each day, Dobra faithfully waited for Elisa's return from work. If she was late, he would sometimes run off to search for her, unable to contain his loyalty. The entire town knew and loved Elisa and Dobra. The wolf was a familiar and welcome presence, often allowed into the dining hall where Elisa worked, a testament to the bond they shared. One evening, Elisa returned home late from work. It had been payday at the military camp, and she had to wait longer than usual to receive her salary. Though she had the option of taking a small bus home, Elisa chose to walk in the cold, relishing the fresh air and the crunch of snow beneath her feet. As the snowfall thickened, she quickened her pace, eager to get home. That same evening, Dobra, unable to wait any longer for Elisa's return, set off to find her and accompany her back. The townspeople, along with Elisa's parents, were well acquainted with her routine and trusted the wolf's protective presence, which always brought them peace of mind. But not all shared that peaceful nature. There will always be those who prey on others, waiting for opportunities to strike. One such opportunist, knowing it was payday, had chosen a dark alley and lay in wait for a suitable target. Elisa, walking briskly toward home, was unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. The streets were quiet, lined with private houses, tall fences, and dimly lit alleys. The robber, spotting Elisa from a distance, crouched in ambush, waiting for the right moment. He emerged suddenly, blocking her path. Where he had come from was anyone's guess, but it was clear he had malicious intent. Twirling a knife in his hand, the blade catching glints of the dim light, he mocked her with a sneer. At first, Elisa didn't fully grasp the situation. Was this some kind of cruel prank? She couldn't fathom someone attacking her in her own hometown. But as the man continued to approach, her fear grew. This was no joke. The realization hit her. There are dangerous people everywhere, even here. She thought about running, but where could she go? The alley was blocked, and the man seemed to revel in her fear, his smile widening as he moved closer, the knife flashing menacingly. Just as Elisa's panic reached its peak, a deep, menacing growl echoed from behind the man. He froze, startled, turning toward the sound. What kind of dog had dared to interfere with his plans? He had no idea what was coming. The robber spun around, only to see a wolf standing in a menacing, ready-to-attack stance. He hadn't anticipated this turn of events. Realizing he had made a grave mistake, he chose the only option left. He ran. But where could he go? Outrunning a wolf wasn't a realistic option. Elisa, in shock and awe, stepped aside, crouching to clear the way for the fleeing bandit. He took the opportunity and bolted toward the forest, his only hope for escape. But Dobra was not about to let him off so easily. Without hesitation, the wolf charged after him, forcing the robber to run straight toward the military unit, expertly cutting off any chance of escape. As the robber sprinted toward the unit, he desperately tried to evade capture. Seeing the high fence ahead, he decided his best bet was to leap over it. Maybe, just maybe, he could outrun the wolf. But what he didn't know was that Dobra had been trained by David Ivanovich to leap over hurdles, a skill that would seal the robber's fate. The commotion attracted the attention of the entire military unit. Soldiers came running at the sound of the man's desperate cries for help, which grew higher and more pitiful with each passing second. Dobra, determined to stop him, latched onto the man's sheepskin coat, tearing it to shreds as the bandit flailed helplessly. Just in time, David Ivanovich arrived and gave Dobra the command to stop. The wolf immediately released his grip, standing down as ordered. Elisa, catching up to the scene, quickly explained everything to her father and the soldiers. The robber, now in shambles, was swiftly detained and handed over to the police. He was even grateful for his arrest, relieved he hadn't been left to the mercy of the wolf. As for Dobra, he continued to live a long, eventful life, remaining a beloved and loyal member of David Ivanovich's family until the very end.